Hey guys, Marshall 2. I just had to start recording. Anyway, um, today to start the horror dudes off, I decided to do a movie review on a great horror movie made in the year of 1987, 1979, I think it was, 1979, 1978, I think it was. An absolute classic called John Carpenter's Halloween, The Night He Came Home. Now, you can check out my review of this movie on my Mario72 account. 2 years ago, I reviewed it. I want to say off the bat, real quick, this is a fantastic movie. This is a brilliant horror movie, probably one of my favorites. Could be the best, one of the best horror films I've seen. Could be the best. But anyway, basically, the movie starts off. We see got a great opening song with one of the most memorable theme songs of all time. You know, do 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 do, with the pumpkin coming up really close. Then we get an eye view of a house, and just get an eye view, and we see this couple making out, and they go upstairs. Michael, we just see this eye view of this killer, and he picks up a knife and he goes upstairs, but he doesn't go upstairs. He like hides behind the place, and the boyfriend comes down, and then he goes upstairs, and you just hear the sister go, Michael, and then he stabs her with the knife, constantly stabs her, and they bring this up in all the movies, I think. Then he goes downstairs, and then he gets caught by the parents, and the parents go, Michael, and then it just cuts away really dramatically, and it's great. And I mean, what I love about that scene is you think it's like they always people say, oh, the point of view of the killer's different because he's taller, but he's small, and he's a kid, but so. So then we cut to the best character, my favorite character. Even my favorite character is Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis is a fantastic character. Basically, Dr. Loomis is talking to this girl, and they're talking about Michael Myers, I think, how he escapes and all that stuff. They're smoking and all that stuff. Um, oh, they mentioned something about Terminator 2 in the back. But anyway, basically what happens is, hold on a second. Basically what happens then is you see all these patients escape, and then Michael Myers like smashes down and onto the car and drives away with it and all that stuff. Then we cut to this place, this nice town called Haddonfield, and basically it comes up Halloween, Haddonfield, and then we see this girl by the name of Laurie Strode who has to drop this the keys off the Myers house. Plus, she talks to this girl, a kid named Tommy Doyle. I think his name is Tommy Doyle. I heard something. Tommy Doyle, and basically what Tommy Doyle is doing, like he starts talking to her, and then they leave him at the Myers house, and his friends told him it was a haunted house, and you see Michael Myers as a shape, and this is one of the best parts of the movie. And it's really unique the way he's just seen in the shadows a lot. He just blends in so perfectly, um, and all. So yeah, she goes to school. We see all this stuff, and she's always looking out at this car that keeps parking, and she like literally. I thought it was kind of funny how like she's not paying attention, but then she asks her a question and she knows the right answer. Just shows how smart she is. Um, and then they go home from school. She goes home from school with her two friends talking. You have the Annie, I think her name is, and she's like speed kills and all that stuff. And she ends up seeing Michael Myers in the garden and all that. And Annie ends up chewing, doing a prank on the phone, and then ends up talking to Laurie. Also, what was the other thing in the movie I loved? I like the bullies are kind of funny. Not funny, but like the bully Tommy Doyle, he ends up breaking his pumpkin, and one of the bullies runs into Michael Myers and ends up running away and all that. And basically, the other parts of the movie are Dr. Sam Loomis and his other guy just walking around. You couldn't even stop a 5-year-old and all that stuff. And when he's calling saying okay, it's your, if you don't get down here, it's your funeral, and there's a dead guy, and then there's a great scene. Then you have the scenes where he teams up with the cop and all that stuff, and he teams up with the cop, which happens to be Annie's father, and the scene where they're smoking and the car is killed, and then, well, not killed and all that, and then basically Michael Myers gets the mask. Basically, how he got the mask is you have the father who talks to them about how, so they stole Halloween masks and all. I love that scene where he bumps into her and goes, Laurie goes, you know it's Halloween, everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh? And all that. And like it starts basically, the first half an hour or whatever is like takes place at daytime, then the rest takes place at night. Um, And I mean, it's such a fun movie. I love every scene in it, even the scenes where you see them talking. I just find fun. Like I find it entertaining. This is a classic. Like I hate the remake. Okay, like I love Halloween one. I really don't like the remake. If you like the remake, that's fine. And all that stuff. Like basically, it's just so good. Like Michael Myers is an effective villain. Like I'd be more afraid of Michael Myers than Jason Voorhees. I would. If I saw Michael Myers coming towards me, I would be shitting myself. Like literally. And basically most of the movie is Laurie's babysitting Tommy Doyle, and then this girl wants to, Annie wants to go spend the night with her boyfriend Paul, and she brings Lindsay over to be babysitted, and he plays a prank on Lindsay and all, and they make jack-o'-lanterns, and she ends up talking about this guy called Ben Trainer, who she has a crush on, and all that stuff, and all that stuff, and it's really funny. Like the scene where she spills butter on herself is funny, and then Michael Myers is watching her. Now I will admit the dog death was like, Michael Myers is one evil killer. Like he kills the dog, but you just see the dog hanging really. Um, you also have the scene which I wouldn't if you're an animal lover and you don't like seeing animals get killed, but you probably wouldn't want to watch that scene. Or what the movie, whatever. Then we have the kills. Let me just get into the kills. So we obviously have the first kill, the most famous, like one, and he's killing his sister, and she has her dongles jongles out. Um, then we have the the scene where um, scene, what was it? The next kill. Oh my god, it's gonna hit me in the tip of my tongue. Oh my god, I forget the next kill. What was it? What was it? Okay, so I think the next kill. Yeah, the next kill is when Annie gets into the car, tries to start. Michael Myers comes in, and like she dies way too late. She dies like really late in the movie, which is actually good because she's a very likable character. And she comes out, and he comes out, and he starts strangling her, and she starts beeping and all that stuff, and she ends up getting killed. Then you have the scene where Lindsay and her boyfriend, well, Lindsay, the girl and her boyfriend, she's in Carrie as well, um, go to the room and have sex and all that. And then she's always like, well, did you get me your beer? And you have that famous scene where Michael Myers has the sheet over him, and she ends up, she's like, see anything you like and all that. And he's downstairs, and then Michael Myers jumps out and tries to strangle him, and then stabs the guy. This is Paul's the guy's name, and he's like hanging, like the knife. I don't know how, but the knife is like making his hanging, which the weight wouldn't really have him hanging, but like it's literally he's hanging on the thing, which is really creative. And like everything about this movie is great. This could be my favorite horror movie. It probably used to be, but it's not anymore because The Lost Boys has just topped over that. Which I am definitely reviewing The Lost Boys again. I love that movie so much. Um, and basically the other half of the movie is the other main character, Dr. Loomis, and the sheriff, going around looking and all that, and they're at the Michael Myers house, and they tell them to meet up there, and eventually he's there, and eventually when he goes, and there's all these kids going, go in, it's like, hey, get hey Connie, get your ass away from there, and then he ends up running away. Then the sheriff comes behind him, then he's talking to him and all that stuff. It's like, your town, and he's talking to them, and he says a great line like, your town is in danger, sheriff. You can either ignore or help to stop it. And he's like, if you're right, you better be right about this. And damn you for if you let him free. Then you have the scene where they're investigating in the house, and he says the most famous line of Dr. Loomis. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. And then like there's some jump scenes like when he goes and then there's a big thing that smashes the Michael Myers window and he ends up jumping, pulling the gun out. And I mean, Donald Pleasance is pretty much more of a main character than Laurie Strode. I mean, Laurie Strode's the main character of the movie, but so is Donald Pleasance. And I mean, you have the like. What I'm trying to say is Donald Pleasance is in a lot more of the sequels. He's in Halloween 2, he's in Halloween 4, he's in Halloween 5, he's in Halloween 6, and the producer's cut. He's not in Halloween 3 because none of the other actors are in Halloween 3. He's not in Halloween 7 or 8 because he died, and his character is in Halloween 1 and 2, the remakes, but he's played by Malcolm McDowell. But this is Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance is my favourite actor in this. I don't know why they just say Jamie Lee Curtis. Just say Donald Pleasance. He's also in the movie a lot. And I mean, the scene where she goes to investigate, like she has the kids up in bed, is just, if you were in this situation, I would literally be shitting myself. Because if you do think about it, it's like, I'd be shitting myself. I would actually be shitting myself. And basically, what happens is, like, she goes to the house and finds Annie, Paul, and Linda dead, and then Michael Myers ends up chasing after her, and I love the way he just walks so slowly, like he kind of speed walks instead of running after him. Like it kind of, I actually think it's more scarier. And eventually Tommy's opening the door and he's taking his time to go upstairs, and then she goes, look, I want you to call the police. I want you to tell them the Mackenzie house. I want you to tell them to call the police, okay, and all that. And they run off and they go, help, help, and then Dr. Loomis sees it, and Dr. Loomis goes upstairs, and then Michael Myers is trying to go after her and trying to kill her and tries to grab her, and then she takes off his mask, and then Dr. Loomis basically points the gun and then shoots at him a bunch of times, and then he ends up falling out the window and all that stuff. And then he's like, and like through most of the movie, like Tommy's always like, oh, it's the boogeyman, because you see him as the shape and all. And she goes, it was the boogeyman. And he goes, and then Dr. Loomis goes, as a matter of fact, it was. So then basically what happens is he goes over to the balcony, checks out the window. Michael Myers is completely gone, and then he goes like that, and we hear the Halloween music going, do 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 do, and Jamie Lee Curtis starts to cry. Then the credits roll, and the movie ends. Gotta say, that is a great cliffhanger. I mean, literally, that fact that Michael Myers is still alive just wants you on the edge of your seat for more. And did we get more? Yes, we did. Halloween 2 continues the story. And I mean, there are iconic moments, like Michael Myers, when she ends up leaving the window open and Michael Myers is there and he's about to kill her, stab her, but then he stabs her and all that. The scene where where she goes upstairs, Michael Myers goes upstairs, and Michael Myers basically, she hides in the wardrobe or the closet, which is actually one of the most famous scenes, and Michael Myers walks past and he busts his hand right through and all that. It's a great scene. There, it's right there. And he busts his hand right through basically, and when he busts his hand right through, she's always like trying to, and the light is there, she's trying to break the clothes hanger and stabs him with it, and then he's lying on the ground. And then one of the most iconic moments is when she's there and lying there, and basically what happens is Michael Myers rises behind her. It's a great scene, and I will be reviewing the second one. And just to let you know, Skull Clown and Millsy 1974, you can review this movie as well, okay? Because like it's fair. Like I don't, just because I review a movie doesn't mean you don't have to. Feel free to review the movie if you want to. So guys, that's my review of Halloween 1978, and bye.